Hi, I'm Toni Pinto, owner and photographer of Pinto Portrait in Issaquah, Washington. Today I'm going to share with you the role I've got to play in the pre-production phase of some of Susan Walker's paintings. Susan has often painted from a photo reference, usually a photo she's taken herself, but more and more she's getting commissions from clients who send a photograph of the scene they would like painted. Usually they're out of state or out of the country even. And so oftentimes those photos she received may not be in a composition or have all the elements that she would like to paint. So over the last few years, she's come to me and I've helped her to put together that initial reference point in a photo. So let me show you how we do that, and I'll just show you a couple quick examples. I'm going to share my screen with you here. So here's an example where she was sent a photo by a client that wanted a painting of this lakeside cabin and had the seaplane in the foreground. Susan's initial feeling when she saw this photo was that seaplane was just too dominant and she wanted it to be more about the cabin. So this was pretty simple. All I did was, first of all, straighten the waterline and reduce the size of the plane and bring out a little bit more, remove some of the trees to bring out more of the roof of the cabin. And ultimately, Susan created this painting for that client. And then another one, this is another good example of, I think the client, they were going to be moving from the area and they wanted to remember this scene, this view from their house, from the area that they took many nightly walks in, but it wasn't the same time of year that they were hoping to capture. So this original photo, I think there's already been some work done here, removing some power lines and some of the cars on the street. But this mountain, this Olympic range was very important. And so we kind of brought that a little bit closer into view. And then it resulted in this wonderful painting by Susan, and they were just thrilled with this. Another recent example, it's a little more extensive, was from a client. Susan, it was actually a woman that Susan had grown up with in the neighborhood when she was a child, and this client had been seeing her work recently and decided she would like to commission a painting. And she lived in California, and the house where she raised her kids had been devastated in the wildfires in, I think it was 2017 or 2018. And they'd since rebuilt, but she really wanted a painting capturing the yard and the way it was when she raised her kids there. So I happened to be in the area, so I went by because Susan wasn't able to. So I was, and this was actually during COVID and everything. So I was able to go by the house and take a photo of the yard as it is now. This was last spring. So, you know, many of these trees have been burned and they're starting to come back. And this front area where they have the yard, this is a new area they rebuilt. It wasn't there and she didn't want it in the painting. So through emails and phone conversations with Susan, and then while I was there being able to ask her questions about what was important, we kind of began to cobble together the photographs to make the composition for the painting. So as I was talking to her, she explained this area of the trees was really important. And then also these other two trees that have the little tree houses that somehow survived and didn't get burned. That was another important element. And this bird bath, which you can see where it is in this original photo. So we wanted to bring that more, make that more prominent. And then also there's a swing back in this area where her kids played on often. And so we wanted to make that a little more prominent. And then just trying to finish off this composition, you know, with the canopy that was no longer there. And I think this is when we finally got to a composition here that Susan's like, yeah, I can start with this. I can work with this. So again, she's not looking for a perfect photo. And she's really just looking for the bare bones of the composition. Oh, and we even added in a couple of the native turkeys that are often running through the yard. So from this composition in the photo, she created this wonderful painting, and the client was absolutely thrilled to receive it. And it's hanging in their rebuilt home there by the yard. So again, that's really all I do, is help Susan a little bit in the pre-production phase to bring her beautiful paintings and compositions to life.